still into the post plant we go. Valyn doesn't set his sights towards a player.
Turns the flash. Gun advantage, health advantage. And of course he falls. The mind game's being played and the shots come through for us,
A best of 5 in Valorant is an ordeal. It takes grit and determination and the ability to outlast your opponent to get through and come out the other side victorious. This lower bracket final has been all of that and more. We are tied up heading into the 5th.
It's pure madness, and apparently it also requires that you full stick onto the spike every time because no one can shoot our diffusers. I mean, 2 rounds in a row. G2 are stealing it back in the same way that they just lost Icebox.
And I'm going to be honest, I didn't think that G2 was going to have that grit to come back after what happened to them. 2 maps stolen away from them in overtime.
And the
a
way
game
it
that
happens.
already should have been a 3-0 for them. And then Leviatán in the second half start this comeback. They're winning every round on Lotus. They're on the verge of pulling it off and closing out this series. And then G2 start coming back with their own incredible clutch rounds to stay in this. What determination from these guys.
But these are just hero plays. I mean, some of these don't make any sense. Leviatán lost around to a defuse with 5 players
people
up.
alive, yeah.
What?
I mean, that's best of 5 Valorant if I've ever seen it. When you get into these later stages, I mean, sometimes it requires just capitalizing on a mistake, making that crazy play.
Yeah, and genuinely, too, like, you had a guy like Valyn that was just an absolute beast, right? This guy has been putting up numbers. And I honestly wonder, like, how good actually is this guy?
He rolled
He's calling a fantastic game. Top 3 minimum team in the league right now. Consistently top fragging as well as in the clutch right here. This guy, I think he's looking like a top 5 player in Americas.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, also, I'm thinking about some of the individual rounds. TPing past Osbos's ult and then just one-tapping him, completely outplaying the guy. So many moments where he's put under pressure, anchoring that C site, and he's just doing everything for the team.
There's a round on B where like Aspas threw a Viper wall, just double satchels in. Valyn just steps ahead of the satchel and pops him immediately.
And
like,
on top of that,
composed.
We're also hearing, like, in that little, like, halftime tape from Icy that he's also the guy who's, like, bigging up his teammates out of game, being such an emotional leader. I've talked to the guy a lot, spent a lot of time with him when he was with us on the desk, and he's just so incredibly mature for how young he is, for how new he is to come and play at this level of Valorant. This guy is truly an incredible talent, and he is proving that grit in this best out of 5.
I think it's safe to say at this point that a lot of the expectations we walked into the series with are kind of out of the window now. What we expected to see on certain maps, the tendencies we expect to see from certain teams, they seem to have kind of gone out the window because, you know, it was G2 that we were bigging up for being, like, really cohesive, working as a unit very effectively, whereas Leviatán, individualistic as a result. But this time, you know, the individuals on G2 stood up in a huge way.
They absolutely did, but I do think that going into this final map, the norms will come back into sync, right? This is Ascent.
To the mean.
Everyone knows how to play Ascent, and more important than anything is this is finally the Jet 1v1 between Icy and Ospas. Icy has not played a Jet map yet today. 2 games on Raze, 1 game on Yoru, 1 game on the Gecko. Now, finally, it is that duelist head-to-head that we must have our eyes on.
And I mean, that is pressure, right?
What should my expectations be as a viewer coming into that?
I think the expectation should be that Ospas is going to take over. We've watched so many Ascent maps of him, with Leviatán, with Loud before it. This is his map. If there was a map to define Ospas, it is Ascent. When he's on the defensive side, his offing is sublime. His entries on attack are so consistently good. But at the same time, we've seen what G2 has done through this whole series. They're one of the best teams at neutralizing those star players, at swinging together, playing as a team, not giving away those individual opportunities.
Especially their breeze. They shut down Ospas completely.
But I think that's a lot harder on Ascent. You don't have all the same tools. Leviatán, I think, consistently do a great job of setting him up on this map. And really, I think the question comes back to Icy. He's been fine, right? Like, he's had his moments. I think he had actually really quite a good map on Lotus, but on Jet, on Ascent, that's where the real test is, and that's where this game will end. It's map 5. You've been playing for hours, and you have to step up against the best duelists in the league.
Can you get away by just being a role player right now if you're Icy? Is that enough?
I mean, with the way Valyn and Leaf are playing, quite possibly, right? Especially if they're able to shut down Aspas on the other side, I'd believe it.
The question for me, though, is their defensive side. When they were playing their match previous to this one, their defensive side, I think, kind of got exploited a little bit, right? Like these really fast, hard hits were running them over, a little bit uncoordinated at times on the flood. Yeah, 100 Thieves definitely took advantage.
And look, they're going to be thinking of all the minutia, but we cannot forget the bigger picture. This is for a spot in the finals, the grand finals up against 100 Thieves tomorrow. Another best of 5. And this is also the core of the guard. 4 players of the team that won Ascension last year now fighting for that spot in the final. Tex versus former teammates, the 3 on the other side, and it has been nail-biting so far.
Leviatán, the super team that struggled to start the season, have stepped up throughout, and if somehow, someway stayed in this series, robbing 2 maps from G2, now in the final one to try and close out. G2 has been consistently underrated, constantly. People have not believed in this team. This is their chance to prove their worth and make it to the finals.
This is it. No more second chances, and only one of these teams can move on to take on 100 Thieves in tomorrow's grand final. Here's Brennan Sideshow with the call.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an endurance test and a marathon here in this best of 5, right? The lower bracket finals for these 2 teams to earn that chance of revenge against 100 Thieves in our grand finals. It's going to be played tomorrow as well. It's not really much time for rest and relaxation, is there?
Not at all, especially when you consider how long this game has been and how much it's taken out of either team. I mean
when did we start? Like, God, hours ago.
Yeah, it really does feel like so long
actually
ago.
Hours ago. But listen, it's going to take a lot. And so far, I think G2 have earned themselves a path to victory here. They brought it, stretched it all the way to the final moments. You could argue that maybe they were robbed in some elements of it as well.
I do feel like G2 have been playing the better game here today, but it doesn't matter. You know, basing it, it comes down to who wins here on Ascent. And you can win by playing good Valorant, or you can win by just grinding out the rounds in whatever way you possibly can.
Win's a win at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if it's sloppy or not.
No, and Lev starting off here with a really interesting idea, throwing the one-way and throwing the shock dart out. That one-way, though, very high. One for Victor Wembanyama, not really necessarily one for Jet.
Molly into the smoke dome. Zeno won't be able to play through this one, but Icy revealed. Almost dropped down here, at least into the single digits of hell with the right click in that angle. Get the hell out of here. Still shock darts offloaded into the tight corners. Dash from Aspas will not be evading that one. Call to fight by G2 is a good one.
Another pistol looking like it's going to go their way. Had the vast majority of them in this series, but Tex is going to try. And he's managed to find one and escape. There was a possibility there for Jonah P and Trent to try to trade that. It did not come through. Trent just going for an info peek and almost wins the round out.
At some point, just got to show them no respect. Tex will have a decent go at things. Flash is a little bit off there in terms of the peak timing, but time's running short. Got to get a move on if you're Tex. Don't have any chance of winning. Your win cons narrowed down. At this point, you're just playing for the KDA.
Yeah, that's all that Tex can do in this spot. You know, getting that lockdown online a little earlier maybe would have been a bit helpful, but it's G2 that come away with the pistol, as we've said so very often in this series. Not that it particularly has aligned with who's won the map or who's even won the half necessarily. But I'm sure it would look a lot worse here today if Lev had been winning some of them. It was the last time that we saw G2 playing on this map against 100 Thieves. They actually put together a pretty decent attack half. They managed to get 5 rounds, and then they won 0 on defense, and it was a crushing defeat. But we'll save those concerns for the next half, put a pin in it, and take a look at how G2 play this one.
No way!
Amazing the reclear with the bounce flash.
The players all just collected up together, lined them up. Right for the taking, Valyn. He's going to put down a disadvantage that his team has got, but this point too little too late. Leaf, looking up. Com taking all, but okay, 2 rifles handed over, and the spike drop down, and they're doubled up together.
And they're finding a timing to the back of Leaf's head.
There it is. Doesn't matter if you lose the pistol rounds, I guess, if you're just going to be consistent in terms of winning the follow-up, your eco rounds. Couldn't have asked for a better start there.
Oh, what a little set play.
Yeah.
We saw them go for the one-way and the shock dart and the pistol over towards B. this time re-clearing A. So aggressively with tons of people. I mean, 4 of them fighting into A main. Lovely.
Spike down.
Happy
all
about that one.
smiles, yeah, all smiles. It's flipped the economy up on its head. G2 will try and make do now with limited weaponry, revealing it. Nade rebounding. Mazino another chance to really fight this one.
Yeah, they're going for a heavy reclear strategy over here, and Aspas, he gets traded.
Fire straight back, like you said, traded. Leaf now tucks himself close. Lev have been proactive in terms of these reclays, but that flash lands at the floor. King seemingly aware of that position that he could be playing into, but the door's going to be closing now into the face. Nobody tucked out wide, can't quite get the kills eventually with the shock dart. Let's lay it down and pep it enough. 2 players of G2, IC trying to take that timing ahead of all of it and picked up a weapon for his troubles. Revealed though, know where he is, plant down on top of it. G2.
They just don't expect Tex coming from A main.
Don't expect it. Tex is going to land the shots though. At least a standard chance. Still, it's swarmed. Everyone from Lev now making sure that they combine together. Leave no gaps in the play.
Definitely opportunities there for G2 to try to steal something back. But Lev closed the door in their face. It is over. Got the rifles online, got the Odin in the hands of Com as well. And looking to try to build up some momentum. They have been going real heavy on the re-clears. Yeah. Look at this, mid-round re-clear over towards Catwalk after Aspas got killed. They've been going, of course, for that early round fight, which is a re-clear over towards A main. They're not trying to hold the one way. They're allowing G2 to push through it and then clearing it out. That, I think, is just going to be early half conditioning, though. I don't think they're going to be going for that every single time. They're just trying to make it feel like for G2, you can't take that space for free.
Yeah. I would agree with that point here. It's a split slow default by G2 again, and I believe getting a tag onto at least one of the players, but unaware that Aspas is up into this position. Smoke in his face, though. Makes the decision nice and easy for him.
I think the more mid-round plays you have on defense for Leviathan, the better that's going to be against the way that Valyn calls. He puts so many of these slow pauses into his attack side, and if you find out where they're looking to end, that can be extraordinarily helpful. But gathering information against G2 can be tough, because they don't have very many tells. They do a lot of kind of contacting, and I think that's what they're going to look to do over towards A main as well. Just double or tripling up onto angles. Although here, a recon may give the game away. No, choosing not to.
45 seconds. Knife clears out onto Wine. Peace of mind there. Now here comes the dart. Hunter's Fury. Aspas in his position. Spotted out up front. Can't evade it.
What a prediction.
Beautiful work by Trent. Just sending the Hunter's Fury sky high, and there's all the value you could really ask for. Door shut down in your face. Mazino won't be able to spray that one down. Here, G2 be able to get this plant now.
And thus activates Leaf on the lurk. He's got no Killjoy utility to have to worry about.
Paranoia delaying. A lot of players tuck themselves deep into hell.
It's just to buy time for Leaf.
It really is, and Leaf got a bit of insurance policy. He's taking his sweet time with things. Might even be missing one of his own. Finally jumping up right behind. And the hit comes through. Damage done. Taking away the lives and away from them. It's a feed that's filled with red. G2 to earn that second round on the board.
This is a great start for G2 here. The fact that they've been able to get round 4 on the board. Of course, they lost the follow-up of the pistol. They'd love things to have gone differently in that regard. But the first rifle round that they're properly fighting, this one, pretty beautifully done. The first tell is that recon dart, and immediately they go into the hit. You know, knife, recon, and they're in. And they still have Paranoia for the post-plant as well, which buys time for Leaf to wrap around. A sick prediction by Trent onto Aspas. Shuts down that star player too.
No mercy here for G2. They want to try and fight.
They're not going to think Aspas has found the timing into Wine already, I don't think.
Yeah, in fact, giving up that space as well, so it looks like they won't be punished for it.
But Mazino is not here to send over that classic flash from Dice, and you peek with it. So it might be a little more difficult for Mazino, for King and Aspas to fully clear out A main. Aspas just goes for the peek, but as soon as they realize A main is clear, G2 are already grouping up towards B. They're being a little quicker around the map here, I think. G2 will often leave it till about 40 seconds when they're grouping up to go for the hit. And now they're already starting to take that map control, looking to end on the B split.
Run into mid, the alarm bot should be broken. They've only placed Icy into that spot.
They're looking to flash peek Tex in off the turret contact here.
Yeah, he's the one who's going to be making the play right back. The dart's not dealt with. Tucks him away, and he's just out in the open. Ready for the Odin to spray him down and take him out. Anchoring players are being afforded those chances. There is that TP. Quick pivot now. The reinforcements have arrived with a dash deep in, but here's the pivot again. G2 are calling for it. They want to fight into the back of the site. They know exactly what's going on.
This is lovely stuff. Great call by Valyn. Realizing that Aspas has already gone for the flood, they pivot and go over towards A. There's nobody home. This one should be free.
G2, they love to play with plays like this to pivot away. I mean, Lee, his sole job is done. Even if he gets the kills here, they can't remove him. Thorn in their sides towards the tail end. That's flawless work from G2.
And these last 2 rounds, masterclasses, but this one in particular. This is a great protocol that we've seen from G2. It's not necessarily some kind of mad scramble on the fly. They actually do this fairly often. Not the setup necessarily, but this portion of it. When they've taken front side B control, then they're so happy to pause.
Nice, boys. Yo. Wait,
they're playing great Valorant here.
You wouldn't think G2 is stressed, man. Push the 5.
No, not at all.
Smiles on their faces.
Yeah, no, I think it really is all about how you interpret the closeness of today. Because the close maps have really been the ones that have gone to overtime. The others, more comfortable for G2. And yeah, I'm loving the way that Valyn calls, adding in these pauses into the rounds.
King's still trying to hold on to control of A main. Pretty good read of things with Com taking that deep lurk timing, so now they know that it's all landing over towards A. We'll see if it affects them though. With them losing Trent, they're running into the stack. They're running into the stack. In for the smoke. What a shot by Aspas. That's a difficult one to hit. Paranoia sweeping forwards. Hunter's Fury collects and collides into the players. Leaving it just down to Valyn. A thrifty win by Lev.
We've had a round like this, so similar on Icebox, I want to say it, but I can't exactly remember which map it was on, where Com calls for people to full stack the opposite site. He's just got to read in this moment that it's all fake pressure over towards B. He wanders out through B main, gets the kill on his counterpart Trent inside the drone, and he's called for the stack before it even happens. Fantastic call there. I'm going to assume it was Com, because he was so instrumental in making that play happen. We've got dueling Odins.
As well as that, I mean, it's Lev they're looking to try and contest this one. I don't think they want to give easy access for a lockdown exec into the B site. The drone is dodged. Dart and a peek. Gotta be wary of it. Smoke across, here's a lockdown. What do you have to remove this one? Zaspas really going to be overstaying himself here. Surely you've got to get out of there. Doesn't want to use the dash. Wants to save it for the next wave of things. Speaking of it, waves emanating out here with an old command. Gives G2 access to it. No more utility to be used. Not for the flood attempt. Not by Lev. They have to take this pause.
There are 3 players in B main.
Paranoia waiting for Valyn. Looks like they want to really fight over this one as soon as they see some signs of life. But who's going to be taking the contact? Lets it loose anyway. Just delaying them. Lev running out of time here. Getting down to the final moments of really what makes it even possible to try and play this one retaken. But the smoke's dropped up in their faces. There's no fights to be given freely. It's tooth for nail in terms of the approach. They just can't quite get themselves into it. And the fight's taken by Valyn. He'll step up to the challenge.
They've got great ideas on their attack side. This was exactly the same in the 100 Thieves game. They still lost that map 13-5.
Yep, they did. They certainly did.
This round is beautifully concocted. They slowly take B main control, dismantle any kind of setups that might be there to restrict them from taking that space, get the lockdown, pop the null command afterwards to stop the flood attempt, as you were saying, and get into a nice post-plant setup. It's all by the book, really solid, well executed, good team play. All of the stuff that's been working perfectly for G2 today. and Lev haven't quite found those individual moments to disrupt just yet, but they're going to look to try to fight over Cap. And if there was a man to do it, it would be Aspas.
Flash set it up. Made a lot of noise, though. Surely he's going to be heard. Where's that util? Anything ready for him? There it is. Over and atop. It's Aspas. Rips away the head of Jonah P.
Hey, how's Leaf got into this spot? This is ridiculous.
Oh, no, looked all the way up mid. I mean, he broke the alarm bot years ago right now. He's right there behind them. Aspas turns away for but a moment. It's all that Leaf needs.
It's all on King.
King looking this way, that way. Doesn't know which way to really try and contend and contest with all of this push. An attempt against him somehow comes out with 2. And leaves it to the rest of his team.
And this sets Tex up for the flank. He's so quick into Gelato. He's going to be behind them almost as soon as the plant goes down. Com just has to survive
Com
here.
not getting caught. It's a lockdown already. Orchestrating this positioning. Tex has revealed it. It's going to be pushing them back and away into the corner. There are safe spots that G2 can play within.
Oh, he's gone down!
Tex has just dropped.
One enemy remaining.
It's down just to Com. 1v1. Valyn already with the smoke propped up. And his plant is so damn difficult. Com suspects it. That's got to be broken. Tanks the hit. Valyn repositioning now. Bring around the rosies. A tap from Com. Baits it out, but Valyn maintains the cool and now knows it. Calls the bluff entirely. And with that, he wins the round. Com running away with a tail in between his legs.
Valyn once more the hero for G2. I think Texas misplayed that situation personally. He's got fantastic timing there, really early towards Gelato. And instead of looking to try to use that timing to find a pick, he went for the lockdown instead of push people into Com. Com did a good job. But Tex went down taking the duel against Valyn. I mean, the lockdown doesn't even cover the whole site.
Stats player.
Again, the call out. Stats player playing for the logs.
Yeah.
And just not really making a good go of things to try and win out the round there, but...
And that off the back of being able to set up Aspas at the start, for him to use knives and create that 5v4. You gotta say though, Leaf, how did he find that timing through mid? Leviatán are gonna take a timeout to discuss those kind of issues.
Yeah, I mean, they had an alarm bomb, but I think he just disrespected it.
If he's broken it though, he shouldn't have been able to find the timing to just walk past the market players
really
and walk past anybody in spawn.
I don't know what happened.
They should be aware of that kind of thing. Just getting inside a smoke perhaps and slipping his way through. To be honest, wasn't paying attention to it because there was fights happening on the opposite side of the map. And I think you could say the same for Leviatán and the way that they were defending.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Here's that flash earlier that we saw. Set up right through the tree line. I was wondering how he was going to set up Aspas for this peak.
It is lovely. Great catch on the replay there. But despite cooking up those small plays, the moments of team play, they're a little few and far between for Lev on the defense side.
I think that's been the case, honestly, for most of the series, where in having these winning moments just from the hero plays, individuals stepping up. This time, Lev, full aggression into mid. Looking to take the fight to them. Something is up here for G2. They definitely recognize the fact.
But Leaf doesn't know.
They're right behind them, yeah, they don't know. They actually are just clueless in the moment.
I think G2 there were trying to fake that it was a fast A hit, heard the Killjoy utility, and decided to back up. They had no idea mid was compromised. Nobody in position to hear the footsteps. Now looking to try to re-clear it. And King, he uses his ult to get out of his stuck position. He was previously playing in this close position here towards mid, but that's also going to rattle G2 a little bit.
Yeah, wondering where the hell he is.
I have no idea where he's gone. He just didn't want to risk one of the few Vandals they had. Oh, the hallway.
Paranoia. We'll get that latch there onto Aspas, pushed out of the smoke. Just from the nade, it's Tex. Takes a little bit of a peek and also takes a head clean off the shoulders. Valyn will be able to stand up to this one now. And with the weaponry, maybe you can make a decent go of things here if you're left. Leaping right in, nobody covering the back. Ankles Macedo! My God!
Another situation where Lev taking things off the back of making unexpected plays, at the very least. This one was more coordinated, though. The fact that they all worked together, 4 players into mid. Leaf, hey, he had no clue that was happening.
There was no real indicator that they were taking mid either, other than the big sprint at the beginning. Those shots are disgusting by Mazzino.
Yeah, G2 caught off guard, just looking to try to play their own game. Normally people are going to be running some kind of slow default there. Coming into this one, a fight over A main, another one of these re-clear strats perhaps.
Spas in wine. Here. Able to set him up! I didn't even have time to react. That is absurd stuff, and he doesn't even use the dash to exit. G2 going to be calling to try and go into a split attempt at their own updraft dash and a movement. Clean enough, but Aspas really can't hold a candle to this guy in this type of form.
G2 have been carefully preparing every attack round to try to push themselves further and further into a good half. And Lev in the last two have just torn it out of their hands. Tied the game up. Course 5 is still really good for G2, but again, they didn't win any defense rounds last time we saw them on Ascent. So the more that Valyn can create here, using his brain as the IGL, the better things will look to be. Lev there just had the perfect setup. Trent is usually going to be using his Hunter's Fury over towards B, sending it in to try to put the punish onto his opposing Sova.
Real far back drone as well. Worried about a shock dart to cancel it. Yeah, again, that proactivity by Lev. Look at this, straight down mid, up through Cat. Last few times that they go for these B splits. Drone not being used to take mid control here. Pretty big indicator. Com locking it down, at least onto that sight line angle. Odin in play, but turns away. Turret spots it. Wants a call by G2 here. Surely they know they've been found out. They have no prior map control. Knife reveals 5, maybe? Pretty much all of them, right? You definitely suspect that. Cut noise for the call. But Lever stacking with the right amount of players.
I think these are the situations where Valyn's calling gets exposed a little bit, I think. Because they just don't have options anywhere else on the map. They have to go for the re-hit. And I think Lev know that.
Sending it flying. Only blessing in disguise.
No recon breakers.
Rotating away. The recon connection potentially there with a Hunter's Fury. Trying to play this one through and through. Icy cannot be cut up and corner out of this angle, but Lev, man! These crossfire setups, picking the right timings in and out of the smokes. Mazzino! This guy just comes alive on this map.
Last round in the
Lev realized that was going to be a re-hit. They had King Jiggle peeking over towards A main. He hadn't heard anything. Tex posted up deep into close mid. Hadn't heard any footsteps running away either. They were so confident that that was going to be a re-hit. And you had Aspas poking up too. The rest of Leviatán holding very pretty on the site. 3 rounds now in a row for our defending squad, as both teams are in our final map. Attack timeout called by G2. They just want to put this final round over the line. Pretty heavy investment of the tactical timeout just for the final round, but 5 or 6 maybe could make all the difference. Again, this is assuming they can get any defense rounds this time.
Exactly the point to make, I think, is that G2, from what we know of this team, the defensive half on this map of Ascent, it's not looking as well drilled compared to the attack side. Maybe that's why they're feeling like they have to take the time out, get this one on the board, make it 6-6 nice and even. We've seen a lot of even first halves between these two teams in this entire best of 5. I mean, it has been grueling for them. I don't know when we started, but all I know is the sun is probably down and out and away. There's no sunlight anymore anywhere near here. We're getting into the dredges of this series, and you really have to pull up the reserves of energy, I think, at this point.
Yeah, very true. Aspas is juggling an Op and a Vandal up towards A Heaven right now, so that he can have both of those weapons available to him. So he's always got the option of falling back, not forced to retake with the operator. Ooh. And if that wasn't clear enough, Lev have a massive economy advantage.
Operator, no eyes towards tiles. Oh, the turret. Missing him. Gets well ahead of it. Anybody seeks to re-explore through mid, G2.
Clearing wine with the recon dart. Interesting there from
it's slow G2. Going. They're going to go straight back into Aspas. Potentially through the mid angle if they think that it's clear. Everybody going through spawn.
Yeah. And there was a knife there, cross map from Mazzino. I think it kind kind of cleared out Gelato, and G2 decided to rotate anyway, so they're rotating into the stack. I think this is the problem a little. Valyn's trying to add in these pregnant pauses, but often the prognosis isn't positive when they just read what's happening anyway.
Yeah. See it, it's trying to fake the presence there. Jonah P called for him to send a knife flying over. He's just one player, though. What can you really do to highlight this one? Aspas is not to be convinced. He doesn't hear anything here. There's no sound cues whatsoever. Paranoia's there. Forwards met, though, with a flash of their own. Lev, they've got the right read on it, and more so. Aspas, right from behind, strikes right where it hurts. Mazzino following forwards and through and running them all the way down. There's no chances with only 3 left out open. Jonah P not set up for an easy fight, and everybody falls. 7-5 finish. Lev on the defensive half.
An awesome recovery, you gotta say. It looked like Valyn was completely in control of this map by the time we got to round 7, round 8, and then stringing 4 in a row to pull this one back from the brink. Getting the operator into Aspas's hands, getting good reads on the defense side as well as to where G2 were going to be ending. That proactivity really coming through importantly for Lev. And we head into our final half of the match.
Intentions could not be higher. Let's send it down to the desk who's standing by in the crowd.
Actually, we're right behind you, Bren. Your Twitter tag's poking out, mate. Might want to fix that at some point. Right, Games Arena, how you feeling? What a match we got so far. That's more like it. Slow start for Leviatán there, of course. Again, pistols have been an issue. They're winning only the ecos, none of the gun rounds. They finally edge ahead come halftime.
Yeah, they get that momentum at the end, and this is where G2 have to be able to dig down deep, right? Valyn is playing out of his mind this game, this series. He's been on top of the world, and this is an in-game leader that has gone through a rebuild with the team, right? Like, G2 were so disappointing back at Kickoff, but then Valyn encourages Leaf to roll swap to Sentinel. What's going on there? The new kid, Icy, comes in, and now they are minimum a top 3 team. They have to battle back now against Leviatán if they want to push to top 2.
And in this specific series, against one of their former teammates, they have 2 maps stolen away from them. Rally, take it all the way to the distance, and have gotten themselves a great half. But if there's one thing Leviatán has done consistently, it is win rounds, win matches that they shouldn't have had a chance to. They've already pulled away 3 eco rounds in the first half to even have a chance in this game. Both of the matches they've won this series in overtime, when G2 had an initial advantage. If they could do that again and have that final robbery to make the finals, it would be absurd.
This comp pushing out of B main, catching Trent, and also like being able to call a full stack to another side. It's really powerful in their defense.
He has been able to find so many ridiculous timings. The calm special is finding those weaknesses, finding those angles he can come in and punish, and that has been a huge strength of Lev so far.
Stage is set. May as well leave it all out there because we've only got one more half left to play today. G2 behind by a couple rounds. Let's head back to Ascent with Brendan's Sideshow.
Time to put the finishing touches on the overall series here. It's a narrow lead that Lev are holding here for the final map of our lower bracket finals. And again, sole focus on these pistol rounds, Josh. I mean, we put in the emphasis on them.
G2 are so happy to stack on pistols. They've got 4 players again ready to defend B. What a read.
And Lev are just going for a full rush take. All hands on deck for this one. Seeing if they can try and meet their maker with that one, the nade. And also the bullets almost making it possible here in a fast, mad dash to pivot over towards A. They don't have any prior map control here for Lev, so this is, you know, not really set in stone.
No, Tex has not taken space over towards A main. It's possible that there could be somebody sneaky hiding in position. But it is clear. Com's going to look to try to make this feel like a re-hit. Looking to drone. And he's kept people in place.
Well, the drone's going to be met with a knife, and they just know that there's no one there now. Only one player tagged.
But they're already in up towards A. Com's done his job.
I mean, it should be, but Lev are taking their time with it. Only just getting in. Will be nobody available. Ready and waiting onto the side to try and play spoiler towards it. King with the plant.
Paranoia, 2 flashes, both available for G2. When does this recon come back online as well for Trent? 22 seconds, they can't wait for that.
It's a flash. Paranoia at least going to be flying right through them onto the heaven angles here, but now doubled up into hell, dropping down. Icy doesn't want to take the first fight, just get to them. Still with the smoke in their face. Valyn is going to be sticking this one. Already got half, and he's earning them just this bailout, but nobody pushing them off again. It's daylight robbery.
It's so similar to the end of Lotus. Just stick the defuse and Lev can't stop it.
What are we watching?
These post-plant protocols from Leviatán, they need to be improved heading into Shanghai. If they take anything away from this game, win or lose, the pistols and the post-plants have been a nightmare. The timing is just off. Aspas is inside the smoke, and Valyn's already stolen it.
Yep.
There's thievery on both sides as teams challenge each other for the right to face 100 Thieves in the grand finals. Just doing a little bit of method acting, I suppose, to try to take down teams in the grand final.
Method acting and a little bit of trolling on the other side. I mean, however you want to tell it. Nades, just from the signs of the contact there from the player, it's going to force the Lev players straight up the gut here. Leaf will happily meet them. More bullets as well, raining down, almost essentially tagging onto Aspas. Expectations are high for this Lev squad. Super team. That's what we were all saying leading into it here. It's a team that's expected to win right now on the back foot.
Getting this somewhat free entry over towards B. And some players in difficult post-plant positions as well to root out.
This one could get strange. Trent with a counter spam onto him. Leaf still tucked into the market position though. They are worried, I think, about the flank potential there because they haven't really dealt with Aspas. They don't know where this guy was. He showed his presence earlier out towards Cat. Enough for them to pull out at least the plan, but maybe it won't be anything else past that point. Everybody cleared out of the site. The only two stragglers, common Aspas.
Surely too weak here to do anything.
They can. I mean, it's just going to be stuck all the way once more. Icy will stick with the defusal. Another round win for them. They can make it expensive. Com. They seek to try and do a bit more economical damage. Only 2 players surviving from G2 might actually make a difference in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, round 15, this is not going to be a great bonus round buy from G2. It's going to look much more like a full eco. And so that's good for Leviatán. You know, at least they've done that level of damage to give themselves this room. It's 7-7. G2 have already at least won some defense rounds, right? That was the massive problem that hurt them in the 100 Thieves game. But you're completely correct. The expectations for these two teams were very, very different. And we're still trying to figure out whether it's reasonable to hold Lev to that super team standard. Tex is going to try to hold out.
Very deep push. Tex seeking to contain. He actually does spot a lot of these plays. You are way ahead of the curve right there. Trying to take this fight, and it's a tip-top dance on display. Jonah P narrowly avoiding all those bullets. A call to recontest here by Lev.
Yeah, and they know it. They should know it.
They should know it. Trent is out in the open, man.
If they haven't reacted into A, they're definitely going for it.
This is chaotic. This is messy. It's getting muddy.
3 players alive still from Lev, all bunched into spawn. No map
walking around into it. They just don't have a clue and still come up with a kill.
I mean, Leaf had already given away that he was playing in that spot.
What is going on?
Lev are just assuming that they've given it up. Look at Jonah B behind as well. Full chaos mode for G2.
It is. Jackson of it spots it out with the spike drop down. He doesn't know where the other 2 are. Never going to be finding this one difficult though. Look at that, just a full takeaway from the flash. Pick it back up though, spike in their hands. They have to call to try and clear this player out, which is Jonah P just here. Nice movement alongside the aim. Com is able to at least deal with that one, the first obstacle, but there's only 18 seconds left.
G2 are assuming that they have to go A, but there is actually
where are they going?
I think there's enough time for them to be able to go to the B site.
10 seconds.
It's going to be a match.
The door's in their face!
The door's in the way!
Someone open it, man! 6 seconds, 5, 4, barely, maybe. I don't even know.
I think he might have missed it.
Getting into it's a post plan, and it's King just trying to float right back into this. Icy. It's just one man. What can you do? Blind as a bat. The crossfire setup, Lever already calling for it. They may have just won a round like that. That's on milliseconds. Milliseconds.
Always flanking. Always
flanking. And he's got the perfect timing.
Surely.
Moved all the way around. Icy.
Surely.
Doesn't know what the last is, but King will finally deliver it.
But the game,
man. I mean,
the game plan there of causing maximum amount of chaos to Leviatán worked perfectly. G2 were just throwing bodies at them all across the map, slipping into timings. Look, what was the time on this?
0.1 basically, yeah, like 15.
Yeah.
0.15.
Nice Lev, let's go.
Let's go. He knew that he was a team, but the Americans
And it's getting, listen, it's getting loopy. A little bit Delulu as we get into the tail end here, map 5.
G2, because they took that almost as a full eco, they've got great eco here. It would be a swing round, but they got that off online. They got the Odin pressuring over towards B main as well. Icy doesn't do a lot of opping. I think that's been a little bit of a learning process for him. Almost all of the time he was rifling during our regular stage 1, and he's been picking it up a little more in the playoffs. As he swings back around.
Target destroyed.
No re-clear attempt into mid, not after the alarm bot was broken right at the beginning. On the off here, Trent. Yeah, but nice shot dart.
This turret is still holding contact towards mid, so even with the alarm bot broken, Leaf is still getting good info here, and that's a great setup from G2 because it allows their players to still be on site. A little bit of chip damage, but nothing too much there.
No kill to be found. Lev. They are grouped up though, with only 45 seconds left. Similar scenes really to G2 on their attack side. The options are limited. Hunter's Fury have come. This will have to set this one up, and it's a cross-map dart. Dodging away the dance and dicing with Deck himself really, but still being able to just supplant himself as the anchoring player. Leave.
30 seconds
Oh, he's really overstaying his welcome and somehow still gets the one. Trent has not been removed. 25 seconds left. Flash in his face. That was an attempt to try and set him up. And Mazzino's just donated the spike. Mincemeat evaporated.
And a lovely usage of the Odin there from Trent. A weapon that I think America should be using a ton more. But Trent's doing a great job of it, dropping back into that backside position where he can fight them, and they can't get a kill on him. What was this play from Leaf? He tanked 100 damage inside the nanoswarm just to get an unexpected time in there through the door being closed behind him. No way that Lev could have anticipated his positioning, but still got that quick trade. Not enough though. And G2 proving that they can win rifle rounds on defense, proving that 100 Thieves loss, bit of an anomaly for them. Because their performance here today has been fantastic. Deserving their position in this top 3. The representatives from Americas. Doesn't look like a fluke, looks really solid setups. But it's still tied 8-8. Anybody's game. G2 of course the team that look to be favored. They've got Lev reeling on an eco round right now, and they're on the defense side of Ascent. But they still need to convert.
They do still need to convert. I think they've definitely showcased it. They've worked on the mistakes of prior rounds. The defensive setups look real clean. They won't lie.
And they're a completely different team in the playoffs now. You're getting bigger performances out of Icy. I know I say that with him at the bottom of the scoreboard, but he's been solid for them this series. And he's still got chances to come alive playing Jet on defense. But I think, too, they just look like they have better game plans, tighter together. They're not the team that just scraped into playoffs. They've blossomed.
Let's fly.
Just needed a bit of time on our tier 1 stage.
Definitely paving the right road now to make it into that grand finals here of our mid-stage playoffs. Jump Spot doesn't see it. Icy with the op in his hands. And there it is. Punishment. Display there for Aspas. Bit of counter fire as well to make sure that they just can't be traded. King works himself into a deeper angle, but he is stuck here now. Doesn't actually have another TP. He has to smoke himself off just to escape. And now with the drone tagging him, the bullets start raining down. There's no respite.
Enemy down.
G2 choosing on the anti-eco to try to showcase that they can double peek out of Cat. I don't think they're going to run that kind of setup very often on rifle rounds, but they want to demonstrate that they can do it when there's more chance of it working. Because they're just shooting into players with pistols or stingers.
Lev have found the right gap though in this round. The 2v4. Silent jump spot from Valyn, but he hears all the sound cues, the footsteps.
Yeah, he's going to hear both of them.
The scuttle of all of it. Lays down the smoke. It's going to make them think that there potentially could be an anchoring player, but mostly cleared. Lev now going to be sticking to this. It's a lockdown to be played, just in case it is necessary. You can see Lev having the right idea there, seeking to try and fight over this one. Do they think this corner's cleared? Yes, they do, but not enough damage done. So the Stinger can't drop enough players.
It took magic from the Lev players. 1v3s galore for Tex on Icebox to steal that map away. Just too much to ask for, it seems like, here in our final map. G2, the teamwork is pulling ahead. It's a slim lead, though. Very slim. I think that's called the hair on Aspas's arm. There's no way that hit flesh.
What does the damage, though? You highlighted Icy, you know, not having a strong performance on an individual basis, but I feel like the way G2 play, they don't really need a star player to pop off. It helps, don't get me wrong. Yeah. When the players can win those rounds, but so far it's that preparation, the discipline on display.
This is one of the few times, actually, where G2's gamble is completely incorrect. They've got 4 players over towards A. And they're looking to play, by the look of it, full retake. And obviously the lockdown and the null command are fantastic retake ultimates. But they're essentially giving Leviatán the B side here.
That could be dangerous. No command of their own. Mazino's going to be using it, letting it rip. Moving forwards. Plus we know it to be a completely cleaned out site. That will be finding that out soon enough.
So now it's down to post-plant positioning. People like King over towards Pizza in this spot.
Did he make a footstep? I'm not too sure when he was dropping down. Let's see if he gets cleared. He's doubled up now. Crossfire set up with him and Com.
Yeah, and Com can kind of distract. It's almost better to play an aggressive angle here for Com.
Okay,
like
we'll let loose. Let loose, Valyn! Snaps to the side, 90 degrees in a double face with the updraft. G2 favored now in their approach. Chopping away, slicing out control of the map here from Lev as the smoke fades away. The Blades just really whistling and whistling past the heads here. Lev still managing to get it done in the process.
What is going on there? Mazino managed to find a kill and then is just lobbing over flashes for the rest of the team to play off. Felt like G2 should have locked those players into B main and certainly had an opportunity to kill Aspas. This one almost broke Valyn's wrist. Look how good the flashes are there towards the end to put pressure on Icy and Leaf and set up Aspas. Mazino, the hidden carry of that round, able to secure his anchor position and then continue to help his teammates. 9-9. For every round that G2 start to look to pull ahead, there's an answer for Lev.
Not willing to go down so easily. Not as a 3rd seed heading to Shanghai of our America's representatives. This is going to be explosive. Straight through onto the site, Icy. Confidence there to try and take that peak, and Valyn with the punish onto the late rotation.
What is going on here? The spike is in spawn.
Is in spawn.
I thought that...
Oh, I mean, Aspas.
This is mad.
It is mad. Madness maybe. Might be the method. Aspas still making goes of things here. G2 having to use the drone and expend it just to try and clear out these spots. They've lost a lot of control over towards the A side. Levs still haven't called for a hard committal. Eventually, now making their way over.
Lockdown available here for Tex. Hunter's Fury early, so now they've got a free lockdown.
Okay, I mean, drop down here. We'll see it being utilized. Tex, he immediately just drops it down. No one can play this one by G2.
Oh, that's a big mistake, I think, from G2. Big mistake. They could have been set up in a great position to flood defend. They had the paranoia, they had the player advantage, but now players have slipped into spots where they won't be expected.
And they got to clear Aspas. That's at least step 1 of it. The master plan in action. Tex still holding on to control of Tree just in case they try and go for the lockdown retake, but they realize there's really no time for it. Smoke dropped up, no one breaks it. Valyn sticking, there's no way he does this again. There's just no way.
Oh, not again!
Player advantage be dumped, man! G2 up to 10.
These post-plant setups are killing Lev.
I think, did the Nano Swarm get kicked off? Where did it go?
He had 2 Nano Swarms. One was on the spike, I believe. The second he hadn't thrown yet. I believe he threw the second one and deaded it, but the second one missed and the first got broken. Yeah. I think that's what must have happened there.
Dude, how many rounds are we going to see like that?
They just don't have good game plans of what they want to do in those spots too. It looked like Tex wanted to even take the lurk. There just wasn't somebody else to buy time. Whatever, you got to put it past you. Move on. G2 up 10-9. Lev have been great at responding in situations like this, but that one was a manic round.
Flash reclear, paranoia. A lot of you two are going to be dumped in just to try and take back control of that A main angle. Meanwhile, Aspas go on walkabout again.
Yeah, taking this pressure forwards because he knows that G2 were fighting over A main. So there's probably only going to be 2 players around, no one really watching B.
He's alone when doing it.
No one really watching mid, I should say.
Tripled up though from G2. On towards Tree, it's a flash play into the corner, jump spot, King. Doesn't choose to use the paranoia, and well, the bluff has been called. What a straight shot, just missing there. I mean, it's not really the weapon for the job. Stinger in hand, dropping him down to just 1 HP. King still surviving. They got to hear this one now. A lot of footsteps moving into their general direction. King always got to narrowly sidestep all of this one, but it could be a great time to just pounce onto everybody. Reload, no! Smoke fade out into the open. And left the spike. Where is it? Drop down into the spawn, for God's sake. Don't have side control. Anchoring players need to be dealt with. Tex. He swings in, oscillating wildly back and forth. Spike still, though, not obtainable. Com getting a move on, getting a run on. 20 seconds left. It really does come down to this. How can he even find this one? Trent tucked close to the corner. Does it get cleared? Plant stuck. Trent ice cold. Doesn't take the peek until this final moment. Enough damage done. God! Can't be happening! It just can't be happening!
Both teams losing massive advantage situations via completely different mistakes. Here, Trent, he thinks the first tap might be a fake, so he wants to wait for the spike to go down. There's a pull-out animation of the rifle, so he should be favored, but he just doesn't take his time with the shot, and Icy isn't close enough to get the trade. Com clutches with the space he was given. When even your own coach can't believe it, you know it's getting wild out here. G2 are going to take a tack timeout.
Tenuous doesn't even begin to describe it, I think, with the state that we're in this game, man. I mean, at this point, right, when did this series start? 8 hours ago. 8 hours ago. Players are getting tired. You know, you're running on essentially empty. No reserves left in terms of the fuel to really keep yourself going, and so it gets sloppy, it gets messy, and it's all about who can persevere in the middle of the chaos.
And that's the point. When things get deep into best of 5 series, it does test different skills. It's not about how perfectly you can play. It's about how few mistakes you can make when you're tired, when you're at the depths of your map pool, when you're being tested and there's nerves. We are in the final hour here. If either of these teams want a better seed heading into Shanghai,
This is gonna be
they've got to get these final 3 rounds. 10-10 and Lev in the driver's seat with better economy, but G2 are looking to fight them over A main.
At the end of the day, do advantages even mean anything at all? G2, pound for pound there with a fight and contestion. Out over towards A main, forcing out the util. Paranoia was expended by King, expecting it to be a bit more of a follow-up. Tex creeping and crawling his way up mid. Leaf, though, holding it forwards. Meanwhile, there's a fight happening on multiple fronts. Leaf wins it out in the battle of the timing. Tex just unaware of the fact that that is even a possibility, and it's crumbling again beneath them. Shot darts pushing them back for now, but it's a 2v2 scenario.
Leaf is on the flank. He's so fast. We saw Tex in this position when the sides were swapped.
He's pushed all the way past this one. The door's just shut up behind him, man. He's going to have to reload. Trent, chances to capitalize off of all of this ground that is gained. Leaf up and around. Smoke now, propped up in his face.
We saw Tex in the exact same spot. He used lockdown. It didn't work. This time, Leaf is going to go for it.
And Com's just trying to take the fight. Crawls up onto the position. They don't want to go to break this one, but it's a hard one to even find value out of. King, there's so many ways to escape it. Leaf with a tap. Trying to force out this fight and positioning. Waiting for the dart on the first play of things. He's revealed, lit up, and it's all dwindled now. A decent go at things here for G2. It was a thrifty round at the end of the day, but Lev persevered.
This is now starting to remind me a little of the way that G2 lost against 100 Thieves. It's not necessarily an enormous lead in terms of the rounds, but they are on the defense side of Ascent, which it should be favored. And they're letting that potential advantage slip through their fingers. They need a big round here. Otherwise, Lev have essentially won the series. G2's economy hangs in the balance. They need this.
Here it comes. Central backbreaker of a round. Same shock dart. It's going to be used to clear out this alarm bot. It's down mid. It's a flash peek. Re-clear. King not punished for it.
Both teams looking to refight over towards A main really heavily and then take this timing after the refight to cover Cat. And both of our attacking teams have fallen for it. Lev, though, adding a pause of their own.
G2 with a high-low. Smoke. It's there. Paranoia. Drone as well. Carves out a path. Paranoia is going to be used at just the right moment there, so nobody following up after the fact that it was utilized. Meanwhile, deep mid position. Door drop down in Tex's face. You might be able to get a bit of a backstab going.
They're worried about Tex. They're looking to see it in case he's got himself into a very deep position over here. When the alarm bot got broken, now these G2 players always have to be worried about a mid flank.
Slow and steady. The lever looking to potentially just explode out now from the market area as soon as the door gets broken.
It's only Leaf defending B. I mean, it's so weak right now if they can get past Trent.
Yeah, the dash is active. That's going to be the signal now. Everybody wants to move forwards with this one here. There's a dart. At least a supplement. Anything to help this one out, but it just goes potentially in the wrong direction there, or at least broken before anybody gets pinged and targeted. Leaf is avoiding the bullets, just ducking and dodging away from this one with the flash to try and carve out any sort of access onto the side. Leaf from the back lines! This guy! He's just ruined them and wrecked them. Pulled apart with only 10 seconds left to spare. The spike has to be planted. King, he smokes himself off in a position here, but G2 have the numbers advantage. And now they're feeling it, empowered and fired up from that one. 11-11, they will not go down so easily.
Hero plays there for G2. That's what they've kind of needed all day. Yeah. And Leaf delivers for them in backside. He had to get something going in this spot. And the fact that he got a bullet tag, I think, onto Com and just stopped him from going for the wide swing trade. Gets two of them, plays in Valyn, allows the flood to happen. It looked like he had been abandoned in backside of B. And now it's Lev who are pushed down onto an eco. This game could not be more back and forth as we head into the final 2 rounds of regulation on Ascent. Possibly the final 2 rounds of the match.
Quick knife's going to be used on either side here with the flashes and the dart. Smoke to cover the feed and the exit, but Icy's going to be revealed.
This is the same game plan that we saw before.
They're moving over to B.
Tex just is hovering around in B main with the spike. How is he actually going to get in?
I don't know. It's still being held. The spike dropped down. Trent, good awareness. Dart dropped down just behind him because he knows that King is within the vicinity. But how do they deal with this one singular element? King, the IGL flashed up in his face. The supportive util as well. He can't find it. Still a kill is there. Gone with the classic. Don't know where he pulled it from. 3v3. No command. Radiates out. Emanates out. Lev getting a move on now, moving into it, but again the anchoring positions. Valyn is here, ready and waiting. And so what is the call? Lev indecisive right now, but still with 50 seconds to spare. They can afford to slow this one down, but they just want to go for it. And G2, they force the issue. The 12th round at this point, they want it. They're hungry for it. Pushed around too much over the course of this series, and now one step away from closing it out.
They've got to make sure that they don't get too caught up in the moment, though. We've seen them squander map points before. They were great at closing things out on Lotus. It was so important when they went up 12-10 that they shut the door in Lev's face, offered no opportunity for it to slip away. But remember that that was an eco route for Leviatán. They tried that same eco strat. Hasn't worked for them twice in a row now.
Quick peeks now.
But IC's going to pick himself up an operator, and G2 at match point.
And this is it. It's got to be now. When Lev have got into the OT scenarios, they're taking it away twice now in this overall series, in this best of 5.
They're looking to try to hard anchor over towards A. This lockdown is going to push Icy into the corner. Surely there's going to be follow-up utility for this.
Look at this read.
I feel like Icy's going to get baited into staying in this spot. It's actually not even a great lockdown. It gives them a lot of space to play the defense. They're trying to disguise the fact that they're coming from catwalk, though.
I'm going to take it. Doesn't stop it, though, with the drone. Has to be spotted. Rifle picked up now. Wants to get active. Wants to get into the fight. Face forwards! King throws his life away, and with it, any chances of the round. The path to redemption and revenge against his 100th Thieves squad in the grand finals. It all comes down to this. And desperation on display, I think, from Com, sending it flying forwards at the spike drop down. Every moment going away at G2 here. But when it matters most, they are closing it out.
30 seconds left.
A 5v2. And Leviatán, the super team, trying to climb back with
They need more than that,
play.
though. It's only down to one, and it will be shut down. G2 harder. It's an absolute marathon of a match, but they earned that spot in the grand finals.
It's been such a turnaround for this squad, going from a squeaky regular season, barely even getting into this position, to now deserving their spot, rematching 100 Thieves. They said earlier it was strange to see Lev in the lower bracket. This super team put together of all the Americas talent, not able to get past a fundamentally good team-based system from G2 today. It's going to be a rematch of our upper bracket finals. G2 facing 100 Thieves, but with a map veto advantage for the Thieves. Difficult road still ahead for G2, but what a performance today. We said earlier it could have genuinely been a 3-0.
It could have been. It really could have been, but today it's G2 standing up to the challenge and the test. They've earned their spot in that grand finals. That chance for revenge against 100 Thieves. And Leviatán going to be exiting out of our playoffs as the 3rd seed heading to Shanghai.
Another great reason to believe in G2 going forwards into that grand final or even into Shanghai. They demonstrated an awesome map pool here today.
Yeah.
They didn't have to play on their permaban of Sunset, that's true. I'll probably change tomorrow. But every other map, they put up great performances. The 2 maps they lost went to overtime. They had phenomenal game plans, even when they were losing. Very difficult to find a spot where G2 looked completely out of their depth today. Credit to them as a team. Had some amazing setups.
It really did take heroics from Lev to just, even put a stop to them, I think. It really did feel like the archetype of you've just got these heavy hitter hero play moments of Leviatán, and then just this well-drilled fundamental style of G2 carrying them all the way, push them to the limit. Don't get me wrong, listen, Lev, fantastic team to be able to do so. We almost went, all the way, right? OT into the final moments.
It was extremely possible that was the case. But the lockdown just not quite perfectly positioned there towards the end. And G2 coming away with things. What a feeling that must be for this squad that's come through Ascension. And for Icy, the rookie who's been added to this team, not even at the beginning of the year, coming in to try to recover the setup after they had not quite integrated Leaf in that main duelist position. They thought they were going to get a superstar on main duelist, and instead they've had to retool, rely on the teamwork much more heavily. And it's paying off.
Oh, yeah.
Beautifully.
Yeah, the system is coming together here, and just absolutely from the gameplay that we've just witnessed here. And unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to Leviatán in terms of this mid-season playoff run. Of course, there's only one more match to be played, and we will still see them in Shanghai as our number 3 seed. But I think this is going to be a bit of a sour point for them. A team like Leviatán, they have high expectations. They've said it over and over and over again.
And losing all the pistols, losing all the post-plant situations, a lot to work on as they head into Shanghai, but at least they have that VOD footage to show them where their weaknesses are, and that's a positive if you want to take that away.
Absolutely. That's ready for them heading into Shanghai. But for now, let's send it down to Smix, who's down on the stage. She's standing by for our Horizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much, Josh. And my God, congratulations, Valyn. What a marathon of a victory that we just witnessed with G2 Esports coming out on top and making it to the grand finals. I want to take a quick moment to give you some props. Your team is in this unique position of having fought through challengers. You win Ascension last year, then a disappointing start to the year with Kickoffs, but then you make that roster change, you bring in Icy, you fight through all of stage 1, and finally, you are now in the grand finals. What does this mean for you?
Where do I start? This means a lot for me and my team. We go way back, and I just dreamed being on this stage to begin with, but now being in the grand finals, it's even more sweet. And wow, what a series that was, right? Went all 5 maps, and the boys gave 110% today. We lost some maps that we shouldn't have lost if you watch the VOD back, and it was a mental challenge for us. And I made a tweet maybe like a week ago when we played Loud, and I was like, yeah, our mental was kind of bad, and people were clowning on me, and even some people were calling us nervous and stuff, but I'm not afraid to be honest. Like, our mental was a little bad at the time, but we've put full focus in it, and now we're reaping the rewards. To come out with a victory in this kind of fashion is even more sweet than a 3-0. So, wow.
Absolutely. There's no better way to prove people wrong than winning in the best of 5 in the way that you did. And it's true, this was actually such a tough victory. You won 9 out of 10 pistols. 9 out of 10. It should have been way easier than it was, but of course, kudos to Leviatán for there were 4 different times that y'all were at map point, but 2 of those times on binds and icebox, we just see Leviatán claw it back. Talk to us as the in-game leader. What was challenging during those moments, and why did it slip away?
I think what led up to us actually not closing out the games was like a downward, like a bad spiral for us, just because we lost some silly like 2v4, like 4v2s, or they stick a defuse in a 2v4 on icebox, and like it kind of hurt us a little bit confidence-wise, and they were able to take that momentum and push forward and take it into OT. We kept trying, kept pushing, but they were a great team and they closed out those games. Yeah.
I mean, what mental fortitude to go through bind and icebox, then drag it all the way out and winning on Ascent. My last question for you. You got revenge here today, but of course, one more chance at revenge tomorrow when it matters most in the grand finals against 100 Thieves. Last time you faced them was just yesterday, and it was a 2-1 loss.
Yeah.
This is now going to be a best of 5. You have the map veto disadvantage with them getting that advantage. So what is going through your head right now?
I mean, the first thing that came in my head is we're playing Sunset tomorrow. I don't remember the last time we played it, but yeah, because they get the veto advantage. Even the last game versus 100 Thieves yesterday, we felt like we blew it. Like, we've been blowing a lot of map points, and it kind of stings, but it's building up the character development. Like, we just got to close these games out. We're up like 10-4 versus them on split. Couldn't close it out, but we're a great team, and I want to get my revenge on Boostio because that boy is standing up a lot, and I got to put him down.
Well, I'm sure your fans would love to see that as well. For now, congratulations once again on making it to the grand finals. And with that, we are wrapping up our mid-season playoffs lower bracket final. Let's head over to Uber, who's standing by with Trent and Jonah P.
It's crazy.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, look, unlike Boosty, I ain't standing by enough, and I am sat down because it has been quite the day. I've sat down, though, most importantly, of course, with Mimi, Jonah P, and Trent. Massive series for you guys. Obviously, congratulations on the win. I know, you still feel like you've got another mountain to climb coming up tomorrow, but we have an opportunity here to just sort of, take stock of what's happened. First of all, guys, best of 5's a whole different beast, right? It really feels like it tests a whole different part of your game.
Oh yeah, we were tested to the max. Like 5 maps on top of us, trolling rounds. Like, I'm not even kidding. It should have been 3-0 in our favor. The amount of rounds.
We said the same thing, right?
Like, honestly, 5-0. Like, every map.
We were literally saying the same
every
thing
map,
here.
like, we just trolled, and they got lucky rounds. But then on Lotus, I would say we got like 2 lucky, like, diffuse rounds.
You got some of your own.
I remember when it happened, I was like, guys, we deserve it. The amount of rounds we've lost, like, I don't care. We deserve it.
So what brought you back in after losing all those rounds? Because it was 2 of these maps that slip away. And I think what a lot of the community has criticized you guys for is especially like that loud game, kind of the mental not being quite there at the end. How did you guys turn it around to show such resiliency today in a BO5?
I mean, it's definitely been the main point of what all of our talks have been. Like, after each match, we realize we're losing because we're just falling out of the game after we lose stupid rounds. So it's been a main point that we've been trying to talk about, and we're trying to have each player focus on themselves and really try to understand themselves in the best way possible of how they're supposed to, reset. And so it's been working out for us, and definitely showed today with the mental resilience.
Yeah. How does it feel? We didn't really get to talk to you guys after the game yesterday so much about it, being back in an international event. After you guys took a big risk, right? Really sticking together and sort of playing to sort of ascend as a unit. You finally did that, and already we're talking international tournaments. So for some, it feels like you guys came out of nowhere, but for you guys, it feels like it's been a long time coming, I'm sure.
I mean, the last time you were in a regional final was what, versus Optic before going to Reykjavik?
Optic and Paper X.
Stage 1 tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we didn't make franchising, we chose to stick together because we knew we would just mop tier 2 and come back because, we went to Iceland. We've beaten all these teams before, all these franchise teams. We just know we're better, and us, maybe it might be surprising to people that we made Shanghai, but to us it's not surprising at all.
But you had to watch these people that you felt like you were better than do the thing, while you had to sit there and be patient and wait. Surely that's got to, make you want to bite your nails or bloody hold on to the edge of your seat. Sometimes it's come on, bro. When is it our turn?
I mean, yeah, we all had offers to join franchise year 1, but none of us wanted to not play with each other.
Yeah.
Like the bond we had, especially with our core, is just, you know, there's nothing like it out there. So we stuck together, and now we're here.
Well, so much of the core did stay together, but at the start of this year, of course, Tex went his separate ways and goes off, joins Leviathan. You guys lost to Lev pretty dominantly the first time you played them in that 3-map series. Now you come back. You've beaten them to get your spot in the final. What was it like to kind of get to play against Tex for your second time against him now?
It definitely feels good. You know, it's just friendly banter. You know, we were talking in between maps. We were talking to them during the tech pauses. You know, just it's always fun playing against those guys. They're all friendly, and definitely feels very good because we felt like today we showed ourselves and we showed what we're really made of. And even yesterday too. You know, we probably should have won that game against 100 Thieves. So
27.
Yeah.
So you know, we just got to focus on cleaning up these little rounds and not letting them spiral out of control. And I feel like we're a top team in Americas for sure.
Got a question here in the chat from Luna150 who says, what did Josh specifically, Josh RT say after that map 1 loss to help you guys regain focus? Like, what's the kind of messaging after these really frustrating map losses for you guys?
What was map 1?
Bind.
Bind.
I mean, honestly, it was kind of... Actually, I remember we talked about it. It was like the same thing at Ascension Finals against M80. We lost OT first map in the most, like, heartbreaking way. I think it was like a 2v5, and we lost. And, like, we were up 12-10 first map, lost in OT. And it's just like, we knew we had that in our bags and in the bag, and just nothing we can do. And so just move on. Our sports psychologist, Allison, like, we've been having a lot of meetings with her, like, after the Loud game. And, like, our mentals compared to, you know, like pre-Loud game to now is just like incredible.
You feel like that makes a big difference?
Oh, yeah, for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
Especially with like the schedule we've had, like with no days off in a couple weeks, and just matches every day. We're about to play another BO5 tomorrow. It's like you definitely need that. If you don't have like someone to talk to, someone to, you know, like a safe space, you can just get stuff off your chest. It could be with your coaches, it could have like with your team. It's just like, you know, everyone can say what they need to say, and you know, it's good.
I mean, it's been great to have a chance to chat with you guys. We won't keep you too much longer. We'll start to wrap things up now so you can get some damn sleep. But we started with 6 teams, and now it's down to our final 2. Let's talk tomorrow. Our best of 5 grand final, 100 Thieves versus G2. The winner will score 3 championship points, a #1 seed for Master Shanghai, crucially. And of course, they'll get a bye for their group stage. It means they can pick their opponents for playoffs, Mimi.
100 Thieves has been talking a lot of trash. Booster in the middle of the match tweeted that you guys were, quote, pigs, as he has with every opponent. Yeah. Is there anything you would want to say to Booster and 100 Thieves right now?
I mean, there's not much I can say personally. There's a lot of red on my stats page yesterday. But, you know, like, I'm out for blood. Like, the matches are so close, 3 maps, 13-11. Like, I know my teammates say it's a team game, we lose as a team, but like I want to make it up for my team. I have a lot to bring tomorrow, and you know, I mean, Booster can talk all he wants. It's honestly cute what he does. Like, he's just, you know, a little tiny,
just chirping.
Yeah, he's just yapping. He's just like a little chihuahua. He doesn't stop barking. You know, just throw him a bone, keep him quiet. But yeah, no, we look forward to rematching them. They're always fun.
Definitely. I think if we don't throw those mini rounds and, you know, let things spiral out of control, we definitely just win that series. And so going into the BO5, we're definitely very confident. We just need to make sure we get some good sleep tonight and just chill. That's it.
Love to hear that. And of course, tomorrow we will have our Shanghai group stage draw show live on stage immediately after the final here at VCT Americas. Don't miss that one. It's been great having you here, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, what a match. Go get some rest. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Of course, we hope to see you all tomorrow back here for our grand final of our mid-season players for VCT Americas. We'll see you then.
Thank you, guys. Get some rest.
Thank you.
Nice.
Good luck tomorrow.
So tired.
40 isolated that position, just firing off that straight shot. Mazzino! He's put here in icy position. He's got the orbital strike. Shut down.
Yeah, that's an insane shot, right?
1v2 for Valyn. Sticking all the way with Com.
Damn, kind of Chris. Damn.
Ridiculous stuff. Com from the side. Mosh pit round and wide. 14-12 finish. There's a chance there for the shot wide and out.
The players not ready. Or angle, how does Trent go down to the Utah? Still, Mazzino. He's ducking and dodging it. King, this guy was never in trouble. Make it nice and even, 1-1 here in his best of 5 lower finals. And there it is. Final kill under Mazzino will seal it up there. And King wants to fight forwards. I mean, Leaf rips it away. What a shot.
I'm a menace with this weapon, bro.
Position has to be guarded. The G2 surely doing it no way. Tex with King draw away. Tex away. With deft hand still. Tex is there. Reset of the aim. 1v1. And another map stolen away. Gonna P. Snappy. Not expecting it, but Mazzino. Nice. Jonah. But eventually with a punish. Jonah P dropping down. You know exactly where he is. Finally.
Let's go. Let's go.
Rocket a paranoia miss. TBdo. Evacuation pushing forwards and back. And still shuts him down. What an outplay. Behind the teammates right now on the insurance policy that is Aspas. He has to get traded. He does. G2. His sole job is done, even if he gets the kills here.
Let's go. Yo. Knew that he wasn't deep, but then Mike is playing.
There's just no way. Oh, not again. Player advantage be dumped, man. G2 up to 10. Trent ice cold. Doesn't take the peak until this final moment. Enough damage done. Can't be happening. Any sort of access onto the side leave from the back lines. This guy. They need more than that, though. It's only down to 1, and it will be shut down. G2. Harder, it's an absolute marathon of a match, but they earned that spot in the grand final.